To make a relative frequency distribution, all you need to do is to take the frequency for each class and divide it by the total of the frequencies, which would also be the sample size. An easy way to do that would be to have your calculator do that operation for you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to look at my calculator, and I have some stuff in there from a previous example, and let me show you how to clear that. If you have any stuff in your calculator you don't need, I'm going to click on Stat, and you'll notice that option 4 is Clear List. And then you'll need to tell it what list you want to clear. I had data in list 1, and remember your lists are second key and they're all above your numbers. So list 1 would be second and your number 1 key. And then enter. And then again, how do I know it's done? Well, I need to go back to my stat menu and go back to edit, and then I'll see that it is indeed clear. Alright, so to easily get a relative frequency distribution, I'm going to go ahead and have the calculator do that division for me for each frequency in each class. So I'm going to put the frequencies in the first list. To do that, you just put in the number and press enter. And again, I'm working with that heart rate data from my last example, where we constructed a frequency distribution from that data set I had put in order in Minitab Express. Alright, so you'll see that I have my first list comprised of those counts for the values that fell into each class. To get the calculator to do the division for me, I can move my cursor over to list 2 and then up arrow so that you'll see list 2 is highlighted, and then push enter, and it moves your cursor down to the bottom of the screen. So it functions a little bit like a spreadsheet. So I want to tell the calculator to take all the values in list 2 and divide by the sample size. And the sample size for this data set was 50. So I'm going to tell the calculator to take list 1, which is the second key, my second number 1, and divide that by 50 and enter. So you'll see in list 2 the frequencies were all divided by 50, and that is basically my relative frequency distribution. So if I'm continuing on with my table by hand, I could easily put in my relative frequencies here. Using the calculator just makes the calculation a little bit more quickly, although this calculation isn't all that complicated. Alright, and another thing to keep in mind is that if I were to sum all of these frequencies, provided I didn't do too much rounding here, all of these frequencies should sum to 1, or in terms of a percent, they should all sum to 100%.